Hello, League City. Welcome to this short segment with Mayor Nick Long. Thanks for joining us
Thanks for
today.
having me.
We're going to be talking about the budget, which, believe it or not, and the rest of the council are about to approve the fiscal year 24 budget.
Yeah, absolutely. We're glad to have done the first reading of the budget and the first reading of the tax rate, and we're a little bit ahead of schedule this year, so that's great.
That's good news. So tell me what some of the highlights are of the budget and maybe what you're most proud of.
Yeah, absolutely. The thing that I'm most proud of in this budget is that we were able to get a tax rate that actually created a true tax decrease to the citizens for the ninth straight year in a row. And so that is a tax rate below the no new revenue rate, which essentially means when you take into account the average appraisal increase across the city, we've decreased the tax rate even more, so you'll see a little bit less in true dollars for your tax rate next year. And so even while having that tax decrease, we were able to increase a variety of areas in our budget. And that's mainly due to the growth of the city, obviously. So all
Yeah.
the new properties coming online, and then growth in sales tax.
Absolutely. Now, we also, as we grow, there needs to be, frankly, not only new roads and new water and new wastewater, but we also kind of need to reinvest in what we already have. So I know that you're very passionate about the money we've been able to put into the reinvestment program.
Absolutely. And so when we got down to the end of the budget process and we saw that, hey, we can give another true tax decrease, we had some money kind of left over and how to allocate that. And so we decided to go ahead and cash fund reinvestment projects. And so those are, putting money back into our infrastructure. And so we split it among kind of three different categories. We split it part to reinvest in some of the buildings. There was several of our maintenance sheds need to be redone. We need to redo some roofs, things of that nature. So we reinvested some in that. Reinvested another portion into the streets and really into asphalt streets and some concrete panels to redo some of our older streets. And then lastly, and probably the most popular part, we put about $250,000 extra into sidewalks.
Yeah.
And so
Hot topic in
hot
the
topic.
city.
It
Yeah.
is, and especially this year with the drought.
Yeah.
When the drought happens, those oak trees, I mean, they look really nice, but those oak trees go looking for water, and those roots can really tear up the sidewalks. And so having an additional $250,000 into the sidewalk fund will definitely help fix some of those problems.
So another thing that, well, frankly, that everybody loves about living in League City is the safety. We're one of the safest cities, and we've been able in this budget to actually hire more police officers to serve on the force.
Absolutely, and so for the last few years, we've allowed the police department to overhire by five. So basically said, hey, if you go and you find some great officers, make sure that you can get them, and we'll find the money in the budget. And so they did that, and they satisfied their entire overhire. So we bumped it again and gave them that same amount, gave them another overhire by five, which will allow them when they identify great officers, great candidates out there, they can go out and fill those positions as they see fit. And so we are able to grow the number of police officers, grow the police assets as well, and then also reinvest more into EMS as well. So we're going to staff. We bought the new ambulance last year, and we were running it at peak time only. And now we're going to be able to, because we redid how we got our revenue on the EMS side, hire that crew full time. So we just brought on the ambulance for a much longer time, and we'll be able to cover more of the city and just have more redundancy as we keep growing with our EMS operation.
What do you want the residents to know about the budget process and how we kind of came to this final budget?
Yeah, so that even though, of course, it's a tough fiscal year out there for a lot of people, just the projects that we had come up with 5 years ago cost 35% more than we had anticipated, right?
Yeah.
And certainly new home sales have slowed a little bit nationally. Really, the economic conditions in League City are still very, very good, and we really benefit from that. And so we were able to do a true tax decrease, but then really reinvest all the money we wanted to and hire more people both on the civilian and the officer side, and give raises because of just the general quality of the economic condition here in League City and the fact that people still want to move here.
Yeah.
And I think you'll see the growth slow a little bit, which frankly maybe isn't always a bad thing because that gives us some chance to build those new roads and to get ahead of some of our traffic issues. But overall, the condition of the city is still very, very strong. And overall, the way that we manage this city and the way that John and the city manager's office has really taken control of the finances has put us in a great place going forward.
So to summarize, we can say we're still going to maintain those excellent services that we have for our residents, and we're also going to be planning and looking towards the future. Would that kind of sum up?
That's exactly it. So we are diligently working on completing the bond projects, and we're kind of rounding the corner on the last of them. Some of them are really big projects and take a little while, but we're going to knock all those out. We're reinvesting more back into our older infrastructure, and then at the same time maintaining fiscal discipline and being conscious not to just grow government for the sake of government, but to look for strategic ways to reinvest that city money so that the people see a real return on that investment.
Absolutely. Anything else about the budget you want to add that I didn't ask? Or
Hats off to the city staff. It's it's $100-something million budget, but it was a very smooth and thorough process. We had many discussions and workshops, but it was all explained extremely well. The budget book is very comprehensive. They've gone above and beyond and posted all that information online. So if you have, if you want to read the whole thing, you certainly can. But if there's a particular area that interests you, you can really drill down into those different areas and see exactly how much we spend on police or animal control or libraries or parks or what have you. So the system and the way that we do the budget is extremely simple for how large it is.
Yeah. And we have it posted, as Mayor Long said, leaguecity.com/budget. Right now it's the proposed budget because clearly we haven't approved it until Tuesday. And then once it's officially approved, then Angie Steelman, our assistant city manager in the budget department, will post the final one online. So leaguecity.com/budget. You can dive in and see every single expenditure pretty much that we have planned. Well, again, Mayor Long, thank you again for joining us today, and we'll see you next time for another short segment with Mayor Long.
Thanks for having me.